She doesn't cry. She doesn't call. She doesn't even look back. But deep down, she's watching every post, every move, every upgrade you make without her, because nothing terrifies her more than the moment she knows she's lost her power over you. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to see every game, every manipulation, every tactic for what it really is. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to take back your power and never lose it again. Comment, "I am the prize," and stay with me till the end. This is the knowledge they never wanted you to have. Number 1. She fakes indifference but watches everything. She doesn't cry in front of you. She doesn't text you paragraphs at midnight. She doesn't show up at your door with tears streaming down her face like the movies taught you to expect. Instead, she does something far more calculated. She disappears into performance. Her silence isn't peace, it's strategy. She fakes indifference, but the truth is, she's watching every single move you make with the precision of a hawk, hunting for confirmation that she still exists in your reality, that you're still affected, that her spell hasn't been broken. You post a gym pic, she sees it. You post a story at dinner with another woman, even if it's your cousin. She zooms in, overanalyzes the angle of her smile, checks her account, stalks her followers, and then does the math. She tells her friends she's done with you, yet brings up your name with passive remarks like, "He's probably still on the same nonsense." But underneath that sarcasm is deep curiosity. Has he changed without me? Has he become better? Was I really the only source of his value, or did I just hold him back? And that's the question that terrifies her, because if she realizes she didn't build you, but actually dimmed you, then her entire self-image begins to crumble. You see, in today's world, women are trained to curate image before intimacy. They care more about how their life looks than how it feels. So, when they lose emotional control of a man, not physically but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, they don't fall apart publicly. They rehearse indifference like a script. She'll post fake laughs, fake dinners, fake peace. But behind the highlight reel, she's refreshing your profile just to see if she still matters. And every time you resist the urge to check her page, every time you go another week without reacting, without orbiting her digitally, you take a piece of that false indifference and crush it with the quiet hammer of your discipline. That's what hurts her. Not your anger, not your accusations, not your heartbreak. What really breaks her is your silence paired with your progress, because she expects pain from you. She expects emotional breakdowns, late-night apologies, desperate attempts to fix what's broken. But when all she gets is silence followed by elevation, the illusion of her power collapses. Let's be honest. Most men today are addicted to female validation. They'll check her stories even when she's moved on, stalk her page, ask mutuals about her, all while pretending to be done. But done isn't silence. Done is rebuilding your kingdom without mentioning the queen who deserted it. Done is living so well that she starts wondering if she ever truly knew you. And let's be clear, she's not just watching with curiosity, she's watching with fear. Fear that the best version of you will never be shared with her. Fear that another woman will get the version she was too blind, too manipulative, or too emotionally chaotic to appreciate. And you, the man who once begged for her time, now becomes the man whose absence redefines her standards. It's not just about ignoring her, it's about becoming so undeniably valuable that even her coldest friends start questioning her judgment. You really let him go? You see what he's doing now? Those whispers echo in her mind every time she scrolls past your content, pretending it doesn't faze her. But it does. Because deep down, she knows the truth. Men don't glow up when they're still emotionally entangled. They rise when they detach, when they redirect all that energy once wasted on arguments, proving their worth, and decoding mixed signals into their purpose, into their body, into their craft, into their money, into their peace. And here's what every man watching this needs to understand. She doesn't want you to suffer. She wants you to stay exactly where she left you, emotionally accessible, mentally confused, quietly waiting for a breadcrumb of her attention. The moment you stop being that man, you become a threat to her ego. And that's when the real games begin. That's when she starts fake healing in public while spiraling in private. She may even block and unblock you just to test your reaction. She'll suddenly pop up in your people you may know suggestions, not by accident, but because she typed your name halfway into the search bar and backed out, hoping her digital fingerprint triggers something. But here's the question you must ask yourself every day. Does my future require her presence? If the answer is no, then act accordingly. Remove her from your search history, your mind, and most importantly, your mission. Because your evolution is not a spectacle for her closure. It's the birth of the man you were always meant to become. The man who doesn't chase closure. The man who doesn't need validation. The man who doesn't find purpose in being chosen by a woman who only valued him when she felt superior. She fakes indifference because she hopes you'll doubt your own path. She wants you to second-guess your silence, to think your detachment is weakness, to believe that your lack of drama means lack of progress. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. She is an outside event. Her Instagram story is an outside event. Her fake joy, her new man, her subtle digs, all external. Your control lies within. So next time you feel the pull to react, remember this. Her indifference is not strength. It's the scream of a woman who realizes she no longer has access to the man she once thought she owned. And that scream? It's silent, but it echoes. Every time you grow, every time you win, every time you choose purpose over pain. So let her watch, let her pretend, let her post, while you become the version of yourself that doesn't need to be seen because the real ones feel it. You're no longer chasing love, you're embodying it. You're no longer seeking peace, you are it. You're no longer asking, does she care? Because the truth is, it doesn't matter anymore. You do. And that's enough. And when you finally understand what her silence truly means, not peace but panic, not strength but strategy, you'll never fall for the performance again. That's why I created the Stoic Relationship Blueprint, because most men are never taught how to see through the mask, protect their emotions, and reclaim their inner clarity. This ebook is not just a guide, it's a full system to break the cycle for good. If you've ever asked yourself, why did she change? Why did I give so much and still lose? Or, how do I never end up in this situation again? This is your answer. It's linked in the comments, and once you grab it, it's yours for life. Access to every principle, every insight, every strategy, forever. You won't just learn how to survive heartbreak, you'll learn how to never be emotionally outmatched again. This isn't just about relationships, it's about power, peace, and finally knowing your worth. Get it now, before this kind of clarity gets taken away. Number 2. She tries to trigger you emotionally. She knows exactly what buttons to press, and if you've ever been emotionally entangled with a woman who senses she's losing her grip on you, then you've already felt it. That quiet shift in energy where she no longer seeks to connect, but to provoke. It doesn't begin with anger, and it doesn't look like war. It starts small. A text sent at 1:42 a.m. that just says, "Hope you're doing okay," followed by a story post the next day wearing the same hoodie you left at her place, the one she swore she donated months ago. Then the breadcrumb trail begins. A mutual friend tells you she brought you up randomly, asking, "Is he seeing someone?" But she already knows the answer. She's not asking because she's curious. She's asking because her pride can't handle the possibility that you've moved on without crumbling. And that's the trigger, not your healing, but your unavailability to the old version of her that had emotional access. Her strategy is never to offer peace. It's to plant just enough seeds of confusion so you do the rest. She knows that silence might leave you alone, but provocation brings you back. And the moment you respond, even with, "Hey, I'm good, hope you are too," she wins. Not because you still care, but because she got you to flinch. And a flinch, to a woman who lost power, is a victory lap. Let's cut through the noise. If a woman is genuinely over you, she doesn't check your page. She doesn't ask about you. She doesn't wear the necklace you bought her or post selfies in the mirror where she knows you'll see it. She doesn't throw shade in captions or tweet vague things about "some people never change." She doesn't need to. But when she's unsettled, when she feels the echo of your absence growing louder than the sound of her own distractions, she has to test the water. She has to know, can I still reach him? Can I still interrupt his peace? Can I still control the way he feels without being in his life? And if you're not emotionally armed, if you haven't reclaimed the parts of yourself you gave away, you'll take the bait. You'll overthink every post. You'll replay old voice notes. You'll start wondering if maybe, just maybe, she's finally realized what she lost. But no, she hasn't. What she realizes is that she no longer has access to your attention, and that is her crisis, not your growth. See, most men believe that when a woman reaches out after a breakup, it's a sign of reconnection. But 9 times out of 10, it's not reconciliation she wants. It's confirmation. Confirmation that she still matters, that you're still available to be emotionally manipulated, steered, redirected, controlled. And if she can't love you, she'll provoke you. If she can't get your affection, she'll settle for your anger. Because to her, emotion is emotion. And if you still feel strongly, she's still in the game. But the moment you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop feeling obligated to validate her feelings just because she sent a 5-word text after ghosting you for weeks, that's when the game ends. That's when she spirals. That's when the posts increase, the hints get bolder, and the provocations become more obvious. Because the quietness of your peace is louder than any argument you two ever had. And in her mind, it's not that you're ignoring her, it's that you've replaced her. Because silence without progress is sulking, but silence with purpose, that's power, and it terrifies her. Let me be brutally honest. Modern women are trained to emotionally provoke as a tool of control. If you're unbothered, you're called heartless. If you set boundaries, you're called toxic. If you move on fast, you're called a narcissist. But what they never tell you is that these labels are often just projections, not diagnoses. She's not evaluating your morals. She's reacting to her loss of influence. And instead of self-reflecting, she lashes out in calculated doses of passive aggression, fake vulnerability, or even petty jealousy masked as healing. Have you ever gotten a message that started with, "I know you probably don't care, but..." That's not a message, it's bait. She wants you to prove her wrong. To say, "Of course I still care." To argue, to defend, to feel. And once you do, the game resets. You're pulled back into the emotional maze, the highs, the lows, the "maybe we should talk," the "I didn't mean to hurt you," the false closure. It's all part of the plan. Because when she can't win with love, she plays with your mind. And the average man, still carrying the guilt of past mistakes and the hope of closure, falls right back into it. But not you, not anymore. Because you're seeing it now. You're understanding that her provocations are not signs of maturity, but signs of panic. She's not checking in because she misses the real you. She's checking in because she misses the version of you that waited by the phone, the version of you that lost sleep over her late replies, the version that paused his life every time she sent a half-hearted message with a soft emoji. That man no longer exists. And if he does, he's dying with every rep you do in the gym, with every dollar you stack in your business, with every chapter you read in that book you've been putting off. You're not available for cheap emotional tricks anymore. You're not flinching at old songs or glancing at her posts hoping for validation. You've closed the door, locked it, and built a fortress of discipline behind it. And that fortress? It doesn't run on rage. It runs on purpose. It doesn't grow from pain. It grows from clarity. Every man watching this needs to write this down. I am not available to be emotionally tested by people who had full access to me and wasted it. Say it again and again until it becomes your reality. Because when a woman knows she's lost you, she'll test your emotional resolve like it's a chess match. And your move? You don't play. You walk away from the board entirely. Because the only way to win against manipulation is not by playing smarter, it's by refusing to play at all. That's what separates kings from pawns. She tries to trigger you emotionally not because she wants you back, but because your detachment threatens her sense of superiority. So stay unbothered, stay focused. Let her scream in silence while you whisper your greatness into the world through your actions. No explanation, no arguments, just progress. And when she finally realizes the emotional games no longer move you, she'll either vanish or evolve. Either way, you've already won. Number 3. She becomes the perfect girl overnight. It doesn't start with an apology. It starts with a soft text, one that sounds innocent on the surface. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Hope you're okay. No accusations, no desperation. Just a whisper of nostalgia sent straight to the part of your brain that remembers the nights you held her and thought it meant forever. Then she posts an old picture of you two, cleverly cropped, with a caption that reads like poetry, vague enough to hide behind, deep enough to make you wonder. And before you know it, she's painting a brand new version of herself. Soft-spoken, spiritual, emotionally intelligent, the kind of woman you used to pray she would become. It's not random, it's strategy. She isn't becoming better, she's becoming what you used to want. Why? Because now you've stopped chasing, now you've gone silent, now you've detached, leveled up, and suddenly she doesn't feel special anymore. And for someone whose entire identity was wrapped in your obsession, that's unacceptable. So she reinvents, not out of growth, but out of fear, out of the cold realization that your peace is louder than her drama, out of the awareness that another woman might receive the version of you she never took seriously. And now she has to perform. She becomes the perfect girl, not because she finally understands your value, but because she finally sees it being appreciated elsewhere. Or worse, withheld completely. She becomes sweet, supportive, affectionate. She offers solutions instead of criticism. She starts reading books you used to recommend. She takes interest in your passions. And for a moment, you think maybe she's changed. But she hasn't. She's adjusted. She's studied you like a case file, reverse engineering every moment that made you pull away. And she's using that research not to build love, but to regain control. Let's break it all the way down. If this change was real, she wouldn't announce it. She wouldn't parade it. She wouldn't need to constantly show you how new she is. Real change is quiet, slow, and rarely convenient. But this is a conversion campaign, a marketing rollout for the old product with new packaging. And the goal is singular: get your attention back. Not to love you, not to support you, not to build a future, but to prove she still can. Because in her mind, Your value didn't increase until she lost access to it. And that truth burns her. So she becomes a chameleon, adapting to whatever version of femininity you once fantasized about. She speaks softer, dresses different, learns your language. Not because she finally respects you, but because you're no longer easy to reach. You've set boundaries. You've reclaimed your time. You've learned to love your own company more than you ever loved the chaos she brought. And in doing so, you've threatened her most powerful weapon, the assumption that you'll always be there. The moment that belief dies, the mask of indifference drops, and the perfect girl shows up at your digital doorstep with a bouquet of illusions. And if you're not grounded, if you haven't done the inner work, you'll fall for it. You'll believe she's finally getting it. You'll open the door, let her back in, and within weeks, you'll find yourself back in the same emotional quicksand she used to pull you under. Because this version of her doesn't last. It can't. It's too manufactured, too unnatural, too unsustainable. Eventually, the cracks show, the patience fades, the sweetness turns back into manipulation. The softness hardens the moment you stop giving her the reaction she wants, and then you realize she didn't change, she adapted. She didn't grow, she mimicked. And all of it was built on a single fragile foundation, your attention. The moment that disappears again, so does the act. She doesn't love you now any more than she did when she broke you the first time. She just can't stand watching you become a man without needing her approval. That's what this is really about. Not love, not regret, not reconciliation. It's about control, identity, power, and the threat of becoming irrelevant in the life of someone who once worshipped her. You want to know the truth? The best version of you will always resurrect the ghost of the woman who once dismissed you. Not because she loves you, but because she hates that she missed it. Because you evolved beyond her reach. And she can't stomach the thought of another woman reaping the fruit of the tree she chopped down. So she puts on a new dress, a new attitude, a new voice. But underneath it all, it's still the same woman, the same emotional games, the same fragile ego, the same unwillingness to grow unless growth guarantees your return. And that's the key. Real change doesn't require your presence. If she truly evolved, she wouldn't need to prove it to you. She would simply be. And whether you noticed or not, it wouldn't matter. But she does need you to notice. She needs you to acknowledge. She needs you to say, wow, you've really changed. Because in her mind, that acknowledgement revalidates her worth. Not her worth as a partner, her worth as a woman who can still make you look. But you've moved beyond that. You're not the man who needed her anymore. You're not the man who lived off emotional breadcrumbs. You're not the man who traded peace for proximity. You've become the man who watches patterns, not promises. Behavior, not words. Consistency, not performances. And because of that, the perfect girl act doesn't land. It looks staged. It feels desperate. It comes off as overdone, and instead of pulling you in, it reminds you why you left. Because the truth is, any woman who could become who you needed after losing you was fully capable of being that woman while she still had you. She chose not to. She chose pride, power, petty control, and now she chooses performance. But you choose purpose. You choose clarity. You choose peace. And if she wants to become the perfect girl overnight, let her. Just don't confuse performance with progress. Don't mistake mimicry for maturity. And never let the fear of being alone trick you into settling for someone who only became what you needed after they thought someone else might get it. You're not lonely. You're focused. You're not bitter. You're building. And you don't need her new act to validate your old value. You always had it. She just couldn't see it. But now the whole world does. And that's enough. Number 4, she weaponizes guilt and the past. Guilt is the leash, the chain she wraps around your conscience, the invisible tether between your growth and her memory. Because when a woman knows she's lost you, truly lost you, the first weapon she reaches for is not her heart, it's your history. She doesn't miss you, she misses what she meant to you. So, she rewinds the tape, plays it back in her mind, remembers your softest moments, not because they moved her then, but because they haunt her now. Not in love, but in regret. Regret that you've reclaimed what she once thought was permanently hers. Your mind, your identity, your direction. And so she does what's worked before. She guilt trips you. She paints herself as the victim in a movie you both starred in. Suddenly, every argument is your fault. Every distance was your doing. Every tear she caused was justified because you didn't understand her love language. She reframes the narrative, not to heal, but to hurt. Not because she wants to move forward, but because she needs to pull you back. And if you're not grounded, you'll fall right into it. You'll start second-guessing your boundaries, questioning your progress, wondering if maybe you were the villain in the story. But here's the truth. Guilt is a tool, a device, an emotional crowbar designed to pry open a door you already locked. She'll say things like, "I can't believe you moved on so fast," when she's the one who went cold. She'll remind you of old dates, old laughs, old promises, all while ignoring how she discarded your effort when it mattered. Because now, your distance feels like betrayal. Not because you owe her your presence, but because she's no longer entitled to it. Have you ever had someone who ignored you for months suddenly bring up how good you were to them when you've already left? That's not reflection. That's regret weaponized. She wants you to feel shame for healing, to feel selfish for choosing peace over chaos, to feel like the villain for stepping away from a storyline that constantly broke you down. She's not nostalgic, she's strategic. Because in her world, emotional accountability doesn't exist, only emotional leverage. And when that leverage slips, she has to invent a new reason why she deserves your time. Enter guilt. After all we went through, you don't even check on me anymore. So I meant nothing to you. All questions designed to reopen wounds you've already bandaged. And the more you answer, the deeper the cut. But you have to remember, healing isn't selfish. Leaving isn't betrayal. Protecting your peace isn't abandonment. It's survival. And if she truly valued your love, she wouldn't have waited until your detachment to find hers. She would have shown up in the silence, grown in the distance, owned her mistakes. But that's not what this is. This is performance, a script written in reverse. One where she suddenly becomes the hurt one because your indifference triggers her ego, not her heart, her ego. And the moment you bite the bait, the cycle resets. You apologize again, you explain again, you re-engage, and she wins, because guilt is a trap that looks like compassion, and most men fall for it because we're trained to protect women even at the cost of ourselves. But the Stoics teach a different way. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That includes apologizing for things you've already healed from. That includes explaining peace to someone who thrives on your pain. You don't owe her closure. You don't owe her access. You don't owe her the version of you she overlooked. All you owe is the truth. The truth that growth often looks like distance, that love sometimes requires loss, that peace often demands separation. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner you'll stop falling for the recycled scripts of women who never chose you, only used you. So when she brings up the past, remind yourself of the present. When she tries to weaponize the good times, remember the damage they hid. When she sends that long paragraph dripping in sentimentality, hear the control behind the punctuation. And when she paints you as the villain for walking away, understand that villains are just heroes in someone else's collapsed reality. You saved yourself. That's not betrayal. That's rebirth. And no amount of guilt can rewrite that. Number 5. She tries to replace you publicly. She doesn't just move on, she broadcasts it loudly. Suddenly her feed is full of sunsets, candlelit dinners, gym selfies with a new man who wears your cologne and mirrors your haircut. The captions are aggressive in their joy. Finally happy, he gets me. Real love looks like this. It's all intentional. It's all curated. And none of it is about him. It's about you. Every photo, every laugh, every "he's so different" post is a performance designed to make you feel like you were the problem. That she was always ready for love, just not with you. But it's not real. Because if it were, she wouldn't need to shove it in your face. True peace doesn't demand an audience. But she's not seeking peace. She's seeking proof. Proof that you still care. Proof that her value didn't decline the moment she lost your attention. Proof that she's not forgettable, replaceable, regrettable. And in doing so, she reveals the exact thing she's trying to hide. That losing you shook her identity to the core. You see, modern dating isn't about healing, it's about winning. And in her mind, whoever appears better off after the breakup wins. So she rushes into connection, fakes compatibility, forces chemistry, just to post something that screams, "I'm thriving." But it's not for her new partner, it's for your timeline, for your mutuals, for the part of your heart that still checks her page when you're tired and alone. She wants to get inside your head without having to knock. And if you're not careful, she will. Because even though you know it's fake, it still stings. It stings to see someone you once loved act like you never mattered. It stings to watch your memories get rebranded with someone else's face. It stings to feel forgotten. But here's the reality. She hasn't replaced you. She's distracting herself from you. And distraction is not healing. It's avoidance. If she truly moved on, she wouldn't need to document it like a marketing campaign. She wouldn't need to parade her new love like a trophy. She would simply be happy, quietly, peacefully. But she's not. She's loud, desperate, overcompensating, and that's not your burden to carry. It's hers. So let her perform, let her pretend, let her fill the silence of her nights with forced laughter and shallow validation. While you build, while you grow, while you become the man who no longer checks her story because his own story is too compelling to interrupt. Don't fall into the trap of comparison. Don't try to one-up her with your own posts. That's not growth, that's ego. And ego is her game. You're not here to win breakups, you're here to win life. And winning life means focusing so deeply on your purpose that her noise becomes background static. Because the truth is, her need to replace you publicly reveals one thing, that privately she's haunted. Not by your absence, but by your evolution. She sees you becoming someone who no longer looks back, someone whose value is no longer tied to her validation. And that's what terrifies her. Not the breakup, but the realization that she misjudged you, that she thought you'd collapse, and instead you expanded. That she thought you'd beg, and instead you built. So when you see the photos, the captions, the stories, remember this: it's not love, it's a performance, and you're not the audience, you're the lesson. Let her try to replace you publicly, because every time she does, she reminds the world of what she lost. And every time you grow silently, you remind her that you were never replaceable, just unappreciated, and now unavailable. If you've made it this far, you already know. She never loved you the way you loved her. She loved the control. She loved the access. But the moment she lost that, she started performing. And you started waking up. The Stoic relationship blueprint was written for this exact moment, for the man who's done being emotionally manipulated, who's ready to master himself and finally see through the lies they were never supposed to expose. It's linked in the comments, and once you grab it, it's yours forever. Don't wait until the next heartbreak to wake up. Get the truth now before the silence turns into another regret. Comment, "I'm unbreakable," if you're ready to take your power back. Like this video. Subscribe. Help other men find what you just found, because this isn't just a video, this is freedom.